This is Blessing Salami introducing Woman at the Well.
Welcome to the Woman at the Well, a place of hope and healing.
Hello everyone, how are you all doing? This is Blessing, your host, Woman at the Well. So this afternoon, morning, evening, wherever you are, I have got something really interesting to discuss. However, I'm not alone today. I've got a very lovely person. I call her Mama T, but she'll introduce herself better. She's my mother, my friend, my big aunt. Call her anything. A good mentor, somebody I've looked up to for years. And I am so excited this afternoon to have her. Ladies and gentlemen, Mama T, you're welcome, man. You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. I'm so pleased to have you here.
I'm so glad to be here. Thank you very much for inviting me to your podcast.
Oh, thank you so much.
I'm so pleasure.
I'm so honored to have you, ma. Thank you. So, Mama T, please tell us about yourself. Your name. Just introduce yourself. Let's know who you are.
My name is Mrs. Justina Aimufua, and I'm a social worker. Personally, I have a husband and 4 children, 2 boys and 2 girls.
You want to know about her children. You want to know what inspires me about this woman. Oh my God.
So basically that's it. And I live in Cardiff, and I've known Blessing, this very wonderful lady, for quite a while now. We've been together. We've come a long way, really. We've been involved in a lot of things together, and it's been an honor and privilege to know her and work with her in a lot of ways and projects. So thank you very much, everyone.
Oh, thank you so much. I am so shy now. I am. So tell us more. We want to know this thing about social work, your career. But before we go into that, obviously you're a woman. You've been through, years of metamorphosing from childhood to now.
Yeah.
And you used to also tell me about you being a girl, an only child at some point. Where exactly are you from before we go into that? Talking about the girl child that you were.
Well, I'm from Nigeria, and I'm from Delta State in Nigeria. And my dad is actually from Delta State, and my mom is from Edo State. So both states used to be former Bendel State before they were divided into 2 different states. So the Delta part, I'm from the Igbo-speaking part of Delta State, and so that's my origin. I would say I was born in the northern part of Nigeria, in Kano, and grew up in Lagos, schooled in Lagos, worked in Lagos for a while, and originally I trained as a journalist, and I worked as a journalist with one of the major newspapers in Nigeria, Vanguard.
Can you hear that?
So I worked there until I left to come to the UK. So, and it's been a long journey from being a journalist in Nigeria and coming to the UK, and had to change my career path again into something else. So, while at the same time being a wife and a mother to 4 children, it's been a journey. One, I will say I don't regret, and it's all been by the grace of God. It's God's grace and mercy that has gotten me and my family to where we are today. And I give him all the glory for that.
Praise God. Thank you so much. Wow. Okay, Mama T, thank you for this. So you're a full-fledged Nigerian then, from origin, because you've gone north, south, east, and west of Nigeria. So tell us about you as a child, as a girl child, growing up. What challenges did you have?
As a girl child, I will say initially, my challenges actually started from my teens. Because I was an only child, for a very long time in my life. And as an only child to my parents, I was spoiled. So that's why I said, when I say I didn't really have much of a challenge as a child until I got into my teens. I was spoiled by my mom and my dad, or mostly by my dad, My mom was actually the disciplinarian in the house, And I think if not for my mom, my life path would have been different, because she was the thing that grounded me. If I was left to my dad, sometimes we think the best way to show love is to just, give in to everything. Sometimes there is what we call tough love, and that's what my mom showed me. But my dad, I can tell you, he can never say no to me. No matter what it is, I go to him, and I used to play both him and my mom up together, My mom will come, I'll go to my mom, and my mom will say, don't do this. And I'll go to my dad, I'll say, Daddy, I asked mommy said don't do this. But I should go and do it, yeah. And my dad will say, yeah, go and do it. And my mom will come back fuming, and it used to cause a lot of row between my parents. My mom would say, you are the one spoiling this girl. When she's bad, I'm the one that will be blamed. And my dad, I'll go to my dad, I don't mind her. And to me, my dad loved me more than my mom, So I was closer to my dad, and I wasn't getting along with my mom that much because of that her strictness, And till today, I was just discussing this with one of my friend here. I was saying that maybe if I had listened to my mom, my path would have been different. Because I remember when I finished secondary school in the north then, I did my GCSEs, good grades. And then, in Nigeria, you do JAMB. I did JAMB. And somehow I didn't get, the university I wanted. And my mom was like, you have to go to Federal Government College to do your A-levels. You have to go and do your A-levels. And I was like, no way you're getting me to go back to school that I will wear uniform. I'm done with secondary school. No. My mom actually got the admission for me, everything, and said, you have to go. And I went to my dad, same thing. I said, Dad, I don't want to go. And my dad said, she doesn't want to go, leave her alone, I said, no, I would rather sit for JAM again. I did that 3 times, And eventually, I ended up in University of Jos doing a course that I did. That wasn't my original plan anyway, but I did that. And then, but now when I sit back and reflect, I look and I'm like, maybe if my dad had just taken a stand with my mom, supported my mom with, those great visions she had for me, maybe it would have been different. Though I don't regret, my life now, especially with my children, and also I am a very happy and contented woman in that regard. But again, you never know, you know. So when I look at it and I reflect, and I'm like, my dad loved me, he loved me, but was he really showing me the right love that I needed, you know?
Now that's something to ponder about, people. What sort of love are you getting? And how do you actually express love to your children? These are the things we're trying to unfold. How do you show love? What sort of love are you giving? What is the interpretation to the person you're giving the love? So yeah. Thank you so much, Mati.
You're
This
welcome.
is beautiful. Good story. So you came obviously to the UK with your family.
Yeah.
And I've always told you how much I love your family. You keep them together. And did that in any way, your upbringing, that influence how you managed your own family? Because can I explain something here, people? She's got 3 doctors in her house.
Yes.
3 doctors.
Oh, thank you so much.
I am so proud of you, Mama. I want to be like you
you.
when I grow up. So honestly, I don't have 4 children, but I look up to you and I just smile.
Thank you so
She
much.
has 3
Thank you.
doctors, and it's amazing for a black woman to raise up children in this society, I'm afraid, and raise up doctors. I mean doctors, yes. So listen to this story.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah. I just give God all the glory, honestly. I give God all the glory. We did our best. You know, like I said, while I was growing up, I was actually very close to my parents. There was never a time, apart from when I was in boarding school, that I was without my parents in my life, you know. I was never sent, apart from the boarding school, I was never sent away. I always had, as an only child, I didn't grow up like an only child. My mom, bless her soul, I say she is a woman with a heart of gold. We've always had the sisters' children, other people's children living with us, being brought up by my mom, you know. So I didn't feel like I was an only child. They were there, and to me, they were my brothers and sisters. I grew up with them. And when I got married, you know, I had my 3 children, and then my husband, of course, I met my husband at work. He was my boss. So and then we got married, and he was also a journalist. He was actually the head of the foreign desk in my newspaper, and I was a reporter under him. And then when we got married, you know, he said, no, 2 of us can't be working together. So
did you find that a bit traumatizing in any way?
Yeah, it was a challenge, really. For me, it was okay, but I think he didn't sit down well with him when we got married for him to. So he moved to another newspaper, and I remained there and got his own position. I became the head of the foreign desk and all that. And while he was in his newspaper, that was when he got the sponsorship to come to the UK to do his masters, you know. And he was in Cambridge doing his masters, and he finished, and he got sponsorship to do his PhD. When he was coming for the masters, because I wasn't interested in leaving Nigeria, and I said, yo, go and you come back. But when he decided that he was going to take up the offer to do the PhD, and that's another 3 to 4 years, I said, oh, no way. I said, no way.
We're going together.
We have to come with you, you know. So that's when I got ready and brought my 3 children. They were all like 2 years, the youngest 2 years, 4, you know, and we came. Yeah, and getting here, it was a shock. I have been away, you know. I've traveled, of course, with my job. I've traveled quite a bit, you know, to other parts of the world where when you are living And when you leave the kind of support network we have back home, and you just come to a new place, 3 children, just you know, it was a bit of a shock. I remember the first few months, I was crying every day, and I was on the phone to my mom, saying, I want to come home. I want to come home. And my mom would say, when you come home, where are you going to leave your children and the husband for? But eventually, it was a challenge in every way, you know. When you are a woman, a professional, you know, you are riding high in your profession, and then you come down here, you don't have the support network that enabled you to thrive in your profession anymore, you know, and you have to juggle a lot. I even start, you know, going into other areas that you are not even, you've never heard of before coming here, you know. So it was a big challenge. But when we got here, one thing myself and my husband resolved from day one to never do is leave our children, the care of our children, to anybody. Nobody. We never gave our children to anybody to look after. We made sure that whatever we do, one of us is always around for the children. Always around. So, and that kind of limited the kind of work I could do, you know, and all, while my husband was studying, doing his PhD. And not only limited the work we could do, limited our finances as well. But because of the value we had and the priorities, you know, we were able to just manage on what, you know, we could gather between ourselves during that period. Our children, you know, we raised them up with that strong value that, you know, we didn't leave their care to other people or even the school, you know. Your children are in school 9 till 3. If you do not instill the values you want in your children, other people will instill the values that you don't want in your children. So we're always, we made sure, especially in their school, we were participating in every school activity, join parents, teachers, just to make sure we are able to monitor them and, you know, also have relationship with the school, build that relationship with the school so that they will have confidence, you know, in coming to us with about anything regarding our children. Because that's one thing, having lived here for a very long time now, that is a mistake I've seen, especially Nigerians who come down here, immigrants. They leave the care in their pursuit of career, work, and all that. They leave the care of their children to others and even the school, you know. The children go to school, come back, you don't know what is happening to them and all that. I'm very paranoid, you know. So I am very suspicious of everything and everybody. Very, very. And when it comes to my children, it's even heightened, you know. So I don't trust anybody or people with my children, you know. I'm always no. So
I believe this so much. Thank you for this. Now, Mama T was, you know, she really helped me. Like I said, we're in a journey. When I was a single mother, we're talking about support and trust. This is one woman that really...
Oh, thank you.
Oh, God.
Thank you. Oh, my God. Yeah.
I don't know if you remember those days. She said, don't worry, Blessing. You'll be fine. Just bring the girl. Do your best and leave the rest to me. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
Thank you for those days.
Yeah, that's what we are here for.
She was my support system. She said, avoid abuse. Just make sure nobody abuses this girl. Bring her to me. I remember even one Saturday, I had to go to work, and I called her just from nowhere. She was like, yeah. You remember you driving your way down to my house, picking the girl up, talking about support. Come on, we need each other. We do need each
absolutely.
other. Support is needed in this, this world where we find ourselves. Support is needed. Thank you for those days. I say it every time I see you, but I don't know how to pay you.
Yeah. Oh no.
I can't even pay you. But support is needed, women.
Yeah.
You go through the valley of the shadow of death.
Yes.
You go through things in life. You go through adversity. You go through trauma. You go through abuse. Support is needed. Love one another. Be there for one another. That's why we're building this community where we can come together and support each other, listen to each other. So Mama T, talking about your doctors, which I'm still excited about. I still want to ask this question again. I know you say you don't trust people. Don't trust people. Thank you, sir. You don't trust people and that. But your children did really, really well. And there are some people who are scared of you.
Yeah.
Do you know that?
Yeah. I totally agree.
Well, I met Mama T in church years ago, and we're like, if I talk to anybody, I can't talk to that one. Somebody was like that. I said, why not? He said, she's not approachable. I said, don't be surprised. That will be the most approachable person. Yeah. And she was. So what do you think people are scared of you, Mama T?
I think the thing about me is that I am not duplicitous. I don't pretend, and I don't know how to pretend to people. If you're my friend and you are not, we are not perfect in this life. Yeah. Nobody is perfect. When I'm friends with somebody, family, friends, I love you for the whole of you, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Because I know there are things that are wrong in me that people put up with. But that does not mean that I cannot tell you those things that are bad and ugly about you. And a lot of the time, people don't want to hear
the truth.
Things like that about themselves.
The truth.
That is where, I think that is why, because I'll be friends with you, and the minute you do something, I'll let you know straight away.
Absolutely. This
thing you've done is not okay. And a lot of people can't take that. Yeah. They can't take criticism. They can't take, caution. They can't. And you do this in love, but still, they don't want to know. They just want you to praise them. And whatever they say, whatever they are doing that is wrong, you say, yes, it is okay. It is okay. So I think that's one of the things that people, those who are genuine, who know, they know me and they love that about me.
That's where I love Mama T. That's where
they love that about me.
That's where we blend
I don't hesitate to call a spade a spade. It doesn't matter who you are to me. I will talk to you. This is what you've done wrong. And the thing about me is that once I've said that, that is it. It's done.
Yeah.
It's done and over with. I move on. I will be laughing with you. But if you have a chip on your shoulder over it, then that's your own problem. It's no longer my problem, you see. And I think that's what some people maybe have reservations about, and they think I'm distant, but I'm not. I'm a very, I've known you, we've known each other for a very long time. And I am very approachable, but I don't suffer fools gladly, I swear. I let people know when they are overstepping their bounds, let them know. Do that in love as well, because in everything, you have to deal with people in love, let them know what they are doing wrong in a nice way. But still, I think people don't most of the time, a lot of people don't want to know what is wrong about them. They don't want to hear it, So, yeah. But, yeah, those who get to know me eventually, and that's why I have very long-lasting, deep friends.
Absolutely.
Because we know each other, we accept each other, and because the way I deal with people, that's how I want them to deal with me. I want somebody to be able to come to me and tell me, this thing you've done is not right. And once you tell me, I might say, oh, no, I don't. But when I go back, I sit down and reflect. And I say, yes, what is, and that's me. I come back to you and say, what you said to me, I'm sorry, or you are right. I do, And I think that is how life is simple, really, Well, we humans, we try to make it complicated. You can imagine if God takes everything we do as serious as we do.
Now that's the woman at the well. If God if Jesus took that woman as serious as everything, if he was judgmental, what would have been her fate?
Yeah.
And what if that woman was proud, arrogant, or not listening, or not yielding to, Jesus's voice at the time at the well, saying, trying to give excuses, and Jesus was trying to make that conversation, trying to bring in salvation. What if she was just so, do you know what, I can't be bothered, complacent, or I don't know, whatever it was that could have hindered her. We wouldn't have known about this woman at the well. People of God, let's have an open mind.
Yeah.
An open mind is needed. Friendship is needed. Love is needed. Okay. Thank you so much, Mama.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, this is the part of the woman at the well I want us to dive into this afternoon, and in summary. The woman at the well, she said something that's quite specific. She said, I am a Samaritan woman and you are a Jew. What is it that you want from me? How can you marry this into this world? Yeah. So, coming from a Nigerian origin, coming to work here, changing career, changing everything, and then you as a person meeting a white dominated world. How did you marry? How would you marry this too? Does that make? I don't know.
I get you. I get you totally. The thing is, I have always been an open-minded person. My eldest daughter, the fiancé is a white guy, and he is so comfortable in our environment. Christmas, he leaves his own family and comes to spend Christmas with us, and he feels if he's having problem with if they are having a row, he will call me and say, Mom, can you speak to her? I know you are the only one that can speak to her, and she will listen. And I will go and I asked there was a time I said, so what's the problem? He said, well, because my daughter is an activist, she said, she's blaming me, that I did not support her during the Black Lives Matter thing. Yeah. That I made a comment that is not supportive of her views on it. And I called my daughter and I said, look, you cannot hold your fiancé responsible for the sins of every white person. You can't do that. The same way, he cannot hold you responsible for the sins of every black person. You look at him as individual. You are going out with him because you love him. And he's supportive of you. Don't expect him to have the same view. His background is completely different from your background. everything, his cultural orientation, everything is different. The most important thing is that, does he respect you, respect your values and where you come from and all that? And he's not racist towards you. And I think that is me, basically. I don't hold people. I don't play the victim. I don't have what I call persecution phobia. I don't see everything that is done to me in a black and or racist thing. I don't interpret it that way.
We'll be right back. Hold on to that thought.
The Woman at the Well, a place of hope and healing.
So, having the confidence of who you are,
Yeah.
being open-minded, knowing your values, standing firm in your values, and working towards your own personal goal and growth is what Mama T has come up with this afternoon. Mama T, as a person and as a Christian woman, you're a deaconess. Have you ever been through any sort of challenges or trauma, anything at all that's made you feel like, oh, do you know what? Let me send this message across to somebody to help this person know that you're not alone. I've been through this, and this is what I did. This is how Jesus helped me.
Yeah.
And this is the work I went with him, and this is where I've come up with now. Remember,
Yeah.
you're sharing your story
Yeah.
and your glory.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just summarize.
Yeah. In summary, I'll say my mom is still a diehard Jehovah's Witness till today. I grew up a Jehovah's Witness. All my life I grew up a Jehovah's Witness. But today, I'm born again and a deaconess in Winners Church. That's quite a journey. And one of the reasons for that, Jehovah's Witness, they are very strong in their faith. They are almost unshakable from their faith. But something happened, in my life that made me so disillusioned. My mom, my dad's older brother was actually the person that introduced my mom into the Jehovah's Witness faith. And that was why I said it was in my teens that I started having challenges. That same brother, that same uncle that introduced my mom into the Jehovah's Witness faith, he is a top person in Jehovah's Witness. We call them circuit overseers and things like that. He was the same person that orchestrated the breakup of my family. That's my mom and my dad's marriage. Because of course my mom had only me. And the African thing. Only one child and a girl for that matter. This same man brought a woman, a wife. They did all that secret, and brought a wife to our home and said this is the wife that will give my dad more children. If that was all, it wouldn't be too bad. But when they brought the wife, they came with this native doctor that is feared in our village. And because they know my mom is a very strong woman. So they came and said my mom should leave. If my mom does not leave, it's her dead body they will take away from that house. So when my mom called me, I was a teenager then. And that's where myself and my mom's relationship actually deepened. It's from that point. I told my mom, I said, look, my dad is misbehaving. I don't want to lose my mom. Get out of that place. I know it is hard, but I want you alive for me and for your grandchildren later. With my mom, I went and helped my mom pack her things out of my dad's house. As a young girl, teenager, said, no, you're not going to die. Nobody's going to kill you for me. Took her things away from there. We went and she stayed with her sister for a while and then got her own place, and I went to school. And that was how my mom and my dad broke up. And I did not forgive my dad for it. But, and that really, I was so disillusioned, I was so hurt that how can my uncle, who is a Jehovah's Witness like that,
religious.
So that really broke me. That broke me. And I think I was lost for a while. I wasn't going into any, I wasn't going to the to meetings, and I didn't belong to any religion. And at that point in my life, a few friends will invite me to this church and this church. I'll go and I'll go there, and once I go, it doesn't, I didn't feel okay, and then I listened to what is coming from the altar and all that, and they all didn't sit well with me until I came here and I was invited to Winners. And when I got there, it was just, when you are talking about God, speaking about God, that's one thing I find resonates with me with Winners. The word. They just give you the raw word of God. Nobody tries to interpret the word for you. No, they give you the word, and you make sense out of the word yourself. You interpret it the way you want and run with it. And that is what resonated with me. And, you listen to everything is just the word, raw. This is what the word says. This is what the word said. This is the word said, and then you take it in. And that is how I turned my life around spiritually. Turned my life around. And you saw me dedicated, committed to God and all. So when you let yourself receive the word, there is nothing that word will not do in your life for you. The word will turn your life around. To me, it's just let the word be your guide. Let the word of God be your guide in life. Let it direct your step. Not what any pastor is saying. No. Not what anybody that thinks they are spiritual is saying. Mm-mm. Let them say what they want, but you read the word. I love what Bishop, the apostle over our commission, says, that I can't pray for you. There is no prayer I can pray for you that you can't pray for yourself to ask God of anything that you want. So the word, let the word of God guide you. And once that word of God guide your life, you cannot misstep. You cannot misstep, because it will always direct you right. And that's one of the things I also teach my children. Because sometimes people think unless you are in church 24/7, that's when you are serving God. No, it's good to associate with, God, with people, be in the presence of God with others and associate with them. But association is pointless when the word is not there. You are not letting it guide your every step.
Wow. Association is pointless without the word of God. Yeah. That's a take home. Write this down if I were you. Association is pointless without the word of God. The word of God is quick, it is sharp. It divides anything that is not of God. It will divide it. I pray that the word of God will find expression in your heart. You that is listening, in your life, it will find expression in anything that you do. this is one woman, like I said, challenges. You don't want to hear too much. I think she doesn't want. There is a lot for her to say, but we just need to stop here. Thank you so much, man. You see how culture can actually break or make somebody, because obviously an only child, a girl child, so somebody had to come and step in to break that family, to break that union. And like you said, you carried that for a long time, unforgiveness and all. But thank God for the words of God. Yeah. Thank God for stepping in and making you who you are today. Thank you so much, ma.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, listeners. Thank you. Well, Mama T, we have something here for you from the woman of well.
Wow.
This is just to say thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
You were well loved.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
It was a pleasure.
God bless you all for listening. And I pray this will help somebody who is struggling with one thing or another. You must have gone through separation, in marriage. You must have gone through divorce. This is one woman. I just pray that her stories change your life. Or I think you can think about something that you must have separated from, that you loved so dearly, but something happened in between. The word of God can mend your heart.
Oh, yes.
God bless you.
The Woman at the Well, sharing your story and glory with Blessing Salami.